over to the next section. All right, and that is 60 seconds to success. So if you're just joining us or you're listening on LinkedIn, 60 seconds to success is when we are in a proverbial elevator and we have just 1 minute to share a tip or a trick that's going to make your hotel marketing much more effective. Now, we have a special guest star today, which is Nick McNeil, the brand agency, and I'm putting him in the hot seat today. I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock, Nick, and you have just 1 minute to share a tip or a trick that's going to make a hotelier's life a lot more easy. So I know you're coming from the traditional agency side. You have a lot of digital experience as well. So we're hoping to hear something that is not what we would typically hear from a hotelier, but someone who has a little bit broader experience. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. You sure? It's only 60 seconds. You got to get it right the first time. All right. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
All right. So our tip comes today from a lot of work we've done in the past few years, primarily in e-commerce, but it is to build a really great help/support/question center on your website. So that essentially is combining some elements of maybe you have a really nice, robust FAQ page or some resources on your website about the property or about packing, things like that. So building a hub essentially to bring all of that information together, or at least the entry point of all that information together into one page where it can help answer a potential customer or an actual someone who's already made a reservation, a place to go to get in contact with you to find out more information. So some of the obvious things would be any relevant phone number, any relevant email, a contact form, things like that. But also a list of maybe...
No, nobody ever makes it the first time, but you can keep talking.
Okay. So, secondly, but is frequently asked questions. You guys have talked about this a lot on your podcast before, but frequently asked questions and some lead into that section of your website. So the whole goal here is a customer service focused page that tries to answer some questions that don't have to be answered on a phone call or people struggle to find on your website because it could be in different places. So building one hub page that kind of helps people find what they're looking for, including quick things like live chat and chatbot access, things like that, all in one centralized page on your website has really been a big help for a lot of our clients. They've actually, by exposing the ways to get contacted, they've actually reduced the number of phone calls because they're answering the questions in a helpful way on their website.
That's fire. That is a phenomenal tip and something that we hadn't really talked about before. Clearly, we've talked about FAQ sections and contact pages, but a lot of times we don't look at that as a location for building that true 10x content. And that's exactly what it is, because that's the place people are going to go to get the answers before they can make a booking. And if you're requiring somebody to pick up the phone and call, there's going to be a good portion of those people who are, instead of making a phone call, they're going to go to Google. They're going to start doing searches. And what's going to happen is they're going to be found by your competitors. They're going to be found by the OTAs or find by somebody else who's going to divert them from your conversion funnel and send them down their path, which even if you get the booking, it's going to cost more overall. It's a great tool for, especially from a search perspective as well, for people who do opt to Google looking for information about your area or what to pack for vacation. That's pretty interesting, Nick. So have you seen, obviously you said you've seen a lot of success. Are clients pretty open to investing the time, effort, and money to build out these 10X type contact us FAQ pages?
Yeah. Well, in the cases where we've gotten buy-in, the problem was volume ultimately, right? For the clients, as they were seeing like, hey, we're getting too many phone calls, we're getting too many emails, and they were looking for it's a pretty clear pattern. And I'm sure a lot of the audience of this podcast listening has been through this before, where your FAQ section is built off of the bombardment of the same question over and over again, either through a variety of contact means. But it ultimately they were concerned, like they want to reduce phone calls and reduce the friction for the customer so they can get their answer quickly. So, what you can put one of these pages together fairly simple and add on to it. So it doesn't have to be a full 10x version at launch. You could have a 2x version to start with, and you slowly add to that. So we've seen great success, and in every case where we've had had an opportunity to put this in place, everyone says that the call volume has at least stabilized, if not dropped.
That's fantastic. This is a great tip, Nick, and I'm glad you were able to share it with us. All right, so that's going to wrap up our 60 Seconds to Success. This was a must listen to if you're a hotelier, and definitely has an action item to take away. If you want to find more about the podcast and you're listening right now, all you have to do is nothing and just keep listening. However, if you're watching on LinkedIn, go ahead and check out travelboommarketing.com/podcast. And you can listen to episode 214, where Nick and I are going to continue a discussion about why creativity matters, or great creative matters, in your hotel marketing. So join us there. If you don't, you'll be missing out for sure.